And I'm just wondering, in terms of the sort of actions from the port, as Nebula, are you setting yourselves up as wanting to coordinate this sort of collaboration, knowledge sharing, etc., or do you think it'll happen organically? I guess, yeah, just to understand how the collaboration and stuff you think will you help drive it, or just expect people to sort of naturally understand it and get on with it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think like everything that's new, it always starts with, you need your key advocates, in that market to really, I suppose, help educate and help infuse and help onboard sort of a broader community. And we always reference that, the channel as being very much a community, and communities are driven by people, and communities are driven by sort of people who are passionate about certain topics, and to make change in any community, you need to have authentic and transparent results. You need to be setting goals that are achievable. You need to be celebrating the success of achieving those goals when you do, and those goals don't have to be what you're going to do by 2050. What you're going to do this year, what you're going to do in the next quarter, and sort of really break it down. So for us at Nebula, when we started the ESG journey sort of last year, we very much focused on a great starting point for us after taking a lot of advice and listening to a lot of other experiences, was we've aligned ourselves to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So for us, we did a materiality assessment out to our leadership team, our team members, our sort of delivery partners, and our customers. And from the surveys that we shared with those communities and the information we got back, we aligned to three sort of sustainable development goals. So those three are very much aligned to what our business and the community we serve are really much focused in today. So those three are very transparent. They're on our website. So we explain, why we've chosen those ones. And we've also, what we found from that process, it was very enlightening, because actually from the ones that were selected, there was ones there that some of us probably wouldn't have chosen. But actually, when we broke it down and why those were chosen through the surveys that we partaked in, that was very evident that actually there's a simple reason that a lot of the things we're already doing today, and a lot of the positive things we're doing, aligned really nicely to a number of the sustainable development goals that we chose. So that enabled us then to put really defined targets over the next year or two of things we're going to commit to. So for example, one of those is around a community charity called Share in Wokingham, close to our HQ. And that's very much about reducing food waste and supporting around 2,000 people a week in the local community by stopping food waste going to landfill. And that saves about 40 tons of food waste a month in terms of redistributing fresh food. So that's fruit, veg, dairy, bread, that type of thing. So that means, we dedicate one day a month for the Nebula team to go and support and to help distribute, that at the charity in Wokingham. So that's a really big thing for our social values, and something we're really passionate about. But another example is one of the targets we've put in place there is, okay, well, as we're part of the value chain, the channel value chain, in terms of delivering a service for resellers, MSPs, and the likes, what can we do actually to help them record their scope 3 emissions? So one thing we're looking at, and what we're piloting today, is for us to capture the journey information that goes from the engineer going from their home to the customer site to do an installation or a maintenance job. And we then need to know sort of what their mode of transport is. And So if we can capture that information, we know what the carbon impact is of that delivery mechanism. So then we make that available to our channel partners. They can then make it accessible to their end clients. So especially in public sector, right? That's a huge thing. If they can start really tracking the scope 3, where most emissions actually sit, in our marketplace, then if we can start sharing that, we can then sort of start saying, okay, well, we know what the carbon impact of delivering that project was. Right, instead of doing offsetting, can we dedicate some resource to do a carbon removal of that project so it becomes carbon neutral or even carbon positive? Now that's where it gets really interesting. So that's some of the things where you've got to deliver on what you promise, but you then celebrate those sort of successes as and when you do them. And I think it's important that we share that information across, so it gives other people inspiration to actually go and do what's relevant to their business as well. Because I don't think there's enough sort of evidence out there of what people are actually doing. There's been a bit of offsetting and stuff and planting trees in the past, but actually, how can you make a real difference to that scope 3 emissions in that value chain, which is what the channel's about, right?